I majored in motivation. I was somehow attracted to those words that we use all the time and don't really fully understand what we mean by them, or everybody means something a little bit different. So lately, this is the word that's attracting my interest. And as I look around, I see there's a National Center for Engagement in Education. There's a lot of interest, and there's a lot of people talking about the lack of engagement in kids. So, as a heat seeker, that attracts my attention, because it seems, boy, if it's that important, and if we're lacking it so much, so often, in so many places, we ought to be thinking about it more clearly. So I don't have the answers, but I'm going to share with you some of the questions and some of the things that I've been thinking about over the last year. Let's begin by looking at what engagement looks like at some points. So, there's something about being that age that is filled with engagement. You don't have to teach a baby to be engaged. They are open to the world, they are curious, they're exploring, and it's nonstop. Now, in a way, thank God, they don't stay that engaged. Like, imagine having 30 kids that voracious about learning and touching and perceiving the world. They'd have to pay you 3 times as much. But there is something also, there is a progression, not really a progression, that starts with this engagement with the world, this hunger for new information, that gets diminished every year. You see it. You see kids in elementary being engaged, you see kids in middle school being not fully engaged, but sometimes engaged in things other than what you want them to be engaged in. And it goes on and on and on to the point of grad school where we have to put uppers in the water to get people to fully engage sometimes. The interactions between the students, and it's a two-way arrow. Looking at those, both quantity and quality. Looking at, it's a book over there, just for old time's sake, but any kind of data, computer programs and everything else, those kinds of interactions. Students interacting with each other, and then the top thing is students interacting with themselves, which is illegal in 12 states, but it's looking at reflection and thinking back about, what did they bring to the table, what did they remember that applies to this lesson, and how they can incorporate it into what they already know. So all of those things I would try to count up, and the dead eyes part, one of the symptoms you would look at, there it is. The dead eyes might mean that they're introspecting. You've taught them something so amazingly compelling that they're reviewing their entire life, and so from the outside their eyes are dead, but inside they're having an out-of-body experience. And that you want the interaction to be using as much of the brain as possible, not low-level busy work, but deeper, more thoughtful stuff. So this is the only time I'll mention WebQuest, but that really, without my being able to put it into words, that was in the back of my mind. 15 years ago now, when I made the first WebQuest. It is all about engaging kids with data, engaging kids with each other, engaging kids with the teacher in a different way, and doing so in a way that requires higher level thinking. So that's at the core of all this, and I find that it's good that insight that long ago was valid, or seems to be. You can move around and go in deep. And you can look around and, first thing I would ask anybody to do is, what's unique about this? What's different about this? What do you notice about the buildings? What do you notice about, there's some people there, what do you notice about them? What would you expect to see in a city this size here that you're not finding in Sana'a? So there's, just looking at this and exploring it raises all kinds of interesting forms and questions, kinds of curiosity. So, let me give you a task. How would you maximize engaged, powerful learning with the 360 Cities site? If all you had was that URL and the kind of classroom that you have with eMINTS, how would you maximize powerful, engaged learning? Take 1 minute.